one point banned all religious freedom and was declared the very first atheist state in the entire world during the communist regime.
Oh, my heart.
That's very different from any other culture we've covered on this channel.
I mean, that was, yeah, man, yeah, my heart.
Very, very different.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction.
Yes.
Super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 100K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
You know how in high school there's always like that one little emo kid that just kind of keeps to themselves and sits in the corner, but then about 10 years later at the reunion you find out they actually have a lot of friends and they're pretty cool? That's kind of like what Albania is.
It's time to learn geography now!
Now you know the drill. Before anything, let's dissect that flag.
Man, this has to be a minute ago.
As you can see, the Albanian flag is actually pretty simple. It's just a red banner with a double-headed eagle emblem on top of it. The red representing bravery and courage, and the double-headed eagle is an emblem that the Albanians have claimed that they have historically used to identify themselves as a people group, even though there may be some other countries that would argue. In terms of its political geography, Albania is located in the South Balkan region, right north of Greece, south of Montenegro, west of Macedonia, and Kosovo, even though Serbia will tell you that Kosovo is totally not Kosovo and it's just part of Serbia, but we'll discuss that in another video, and off the coast of the Ionian and the Adriatic Seas. Now when it comes to Albania's borders, it almost kind of looks like every single country surrounding Albania is trying to take as much coastline away as they can from Albania. In the south, Greece is like, I'm just gonna take these extra 10 miles of beach. In the north, Montenegro's like, I'm just gonna take the entire Buna River. And even inland, Macedonia is like, I'm just gonna take the majority of the Prespa and Ohrid lakes and access to those lakes. Albania doesn't really get much regard. Now, unlike many of its neighbors that border the Mediterranean, Albania doesn't really have many islands that border its coastline. In fact, there are only about 7 to 10-ish islands, most of which are small, uninhabited, or barely inhabited, like Tongo and Stilo Island in the south, which each only have one house on them, and most of the other ones are basically barely even the size.
Somebody got an island.
That would be me. I want my own island.
With one house on it.
Yep.
1% of inhabitants.
Yep.
As they would say.
Kia. However, a lot of them do have a lot of cool historical ancient sites and landmarks on them, such as Ali Pasha Castle on Butrint and the 13th century monastery on Zvenes Island. Except for one, Sazan Island. Sazan Island has actually played a very crucial role in Albania's history. It was taken over by the Romans, and then the Byzantines, and the Ottomans, and the Greeks, and the Italians, and the British, and the Greeks, but the Greeks didn't want it again, so they gave it to the Italians. And then the Italians finally gave it to Albania. It's a long story. To this day, Sazan Island is the only somewhat inhabited island, as the people living there are only there to maintain the former military bases that were built.
Yeah, they do that.
In terms of its physical geography, Albania is about 70% mountainous, with about 25% of the land being arable for agriculture and farming, which, by the way, is a sector that employs about half of the entire population of Albania. Albanians take their agriculture very seriously. In fact, for a while, they were completely closed off from the rest of the world and self-reliant. In addition to fruits and vegetables and other produce, one thing that Albanians really like to grow? Tobacco. They just do. Now, Albania is also loaded with a bunch of other types of landscapes like rolling green hills and lush forests and very nice warm temperate beaches, such as the ones at Samil and Durres. Speaking of which, interesting factoid, if you go to Albania, pretty much everywhere around the entire country, you'll notice these World War II concrete war bunkers located everywhere. The reason being because in the middle of the 20th century, the old communist leader Enver Hoxha took over and built these war bunkers, about 700,000 of them, and placed them all over the country as a means for militaristic preparation. Now, of course, that costed the country a lot of money that they pretty much didn't have, and it was a poor investment because they never really needed them. However, to this day, it's almost like a little I Spy game. When you go to Albania, see how many bunkers you can find.
That's crazy, yo.
Now, in terms of its demographics, about 85%, the vast majority of people in Albania identify as ethnically Albanian. Now, there are some minorities like Greeks and Macedonians and Montenegrins as well. The vast majority of people in Albania also speak the Albanian language, which is one of the most distinguishable facets of this country. The Albanian language to this day relates to no other Indo-European language branch in the world. It stands alone as its own, and it's a very unique language. Albania also has a very interesting faith-based background. About 60% of the people identify as non-denominational or secular Muslim, and about 20% identify as Christian, mostly Catholic or Orthodox. Although historically, Albania at one point banned all religious freedom and was declared the very first atheist state in the entire world during the communist regime.
Oh, my heart.
That's very different from any other culture we've covered on this channel. That's
I mean,
very different.
that was, man,
Yeah.
my heart.
Very, very different.
Until 1992. Interesting side note, in Albania they shake their head to say yes and they nod their head to say no.
Okay.
Okay.
The friend zone. This is where things get a little...
Don't even ask me who their friends is, because they look like they cut themselves off from everybody.
I'm trying to think. Well, they were once self-reliant.
They got their own language, so I don't know
religions.
who, you know what I'm saying? With no religion, it's like, he right, that is like that one kid who want to just be in the corner all day by himself.
Yeah, but he also said you find out that they had all the friends. So who would be their friends?
That one kid had all the friends?
Mm-hmm. I think they would be friends with like Italy. Italy gave them that island, so there's some type of relationship there.
Albania. I don't know, y'all. This is this sounds like this is more Sierra ballpark.
I don't even know.
You say Italy.
I said Italy. That's it.
I'm gonna rock with you.
Okay, we're gonna rock.
Interesting because historically Albania has probably been one of the most socially awkward countries in the world. Shortly after Albania was relinquished from the Ottoman Empire, Albania kind of went through a few decades of not exactly quite knowing how to be Albania again.
Wow.
And that's when the Soviets came in. For a while Albania was part of the Soviet bloc. However, during the Sino-Soviet split, which is something we will discuss all that drama in another video, Albania actually decided to side with China and not Russia, which strategically may have been a bad decision. The reason being because that made China Albania's only ally in the world. And it can get kind of hard when your only ally in the world isn't even close to you geographically. And to add on top of that, in the 70s, China was kind of like, look, Albania, it was cute how you wanted to tag along, but you're on your own. And then Albania had no allies. Wow. In the last few years of communism and following the death of Enver Hoxha, Albania kind of saw what was going on and they were like, yeah, we kind of need to turn things around. And finally, in 1990, the communism regime ended, making Albania a constitutional republic. This opened up a lot of doors. And from the 90s up until today, Albania has become one of the most social countries in the world, opening up its arms, trying to regain as many
Albania said I had a change of heart.
A big change.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
But still, at the end of the day, it's still different. At the end of the day, you know, it's like you come into the world to distance yourself, and then you try to have a change of heart, and it's a little different. You know, people still gonna be open and welcoming. You know, because that's who they are. But it takes time, Albania. What are you at today?
Let's see.
Diplomatic relations as it can with as many countries, and to this day has about 40 embassies in 40 different countries. Albania is not a social butterfly. Albania is a social pterodactyl. They even named a street after George W. Bush after he visited there one time in 2007. Interesting side note, there's an early episode of The Simpsons in which Bart signs up for a foreign exchange student program and goes to France, whereas the Simpson family receives an exchange student named Adil from Albania. The episode was filmed in 1990, right before the fall of communism in Albania, Albania and lightly portrays the tensions between Americans and Soviet-influenced nations back in that time. In terms of its best friend, Albania would probably consider Kosovo their best friend, considering that the vast majority of people in Kosovo are Albanians. Gotta support your brothers. In conclusion, Albania may have been that little reserved, quiet kid, and yeah, maybe they made a few bad decisions here and there historically, but they really started to turn things around, and you gotta give that for them. Stay tuned, Algeria is coming up next.
Albania, I guess I could say it's not your fault.
I don't know Albania.
Bro, yeah, it's like awkward.
Yeah, let us know where you all stand today. Let us know, what you love about Albania. We would love to know.
Albania did become one of the most social tourist spots.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Maybe you guys can send in more videos about what else Albania has to offer. Again, I think you said agriculture.
Yeah,
background,
agriculture.
right? So we can learn more about that as well, and to learn more about the people as well, because I feel like it's not a country if you don't bring out the people that's in it. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to learn more about the background and history behind Albania and their decisions.
Yes, from 1990 to now.
Okay.
All right.
That's the way. That's the way.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.